Now, bass gear is a bass specialist, but it's not any old bass specialist because it has a unique viewpoint as to what it wants to sell. We actually ended up setting up bass gear to have in store things that you wouldn't hitherto be able to find, things that were unique or rare or innovative. And so I've gone about trying to attract bass brands that you typically wouldn't see on your travels around the UK. For example, the bag ends weren't on sale in the UK for the last few years, and we're now effectively Europe's bag end specialist, and they're proving very popular actually. And it is the fact that a lot of them do go overseas to mainland Europe on a regular basis. We have a great selection of Federas and Oliva Capolos and other lines that you just didn't see beforehand. Some of the instruments we sell are quite high ticket in terms of price. And believe me, I'm not making a big cut out of that. That's just the way they are. That's how they come. And sometimes people think, well, isn't that a bit, elitist, selling stuff like that? I couldn't possibly afford that. Well, I think every guy has to have a hobby, and gal, and if in any hobby that you've got, once you really get into it and you know what your the difference is between your products, whether you're a tennis player, a golf player, a hi-fi enthusiast, a camera photography enthusiast, whatever your thing is, you'll end up wanting the best, particularly if you can actually discern that they are going to give you something that the cheaper product doesn't give you. And I think with bass guitar fanatics, if they spend a lot of time researching and thinking and playing, then they end up knowing more what they want. And it's very subjective, it's in the ear and only they can hear it. And sometimes they come to the conclusion, and this is something I'm coming across more regularly nowadays, is that over the years they've amassed quite a collection of bass guitars, often worth quite a lot individually, but certainly as a collection of basses. And they don't play them all because they've got too many. And the same people who think, it's a bit expensive to spend £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 on a bass, often come around to the conclusion that if they sold a few of what they've already got, they could afford one of these, and it can do something for them that it didn't do before. With the Federas in particular, they make you play in ways that you didn't think you could before, and I think that's down to the art of the Federa, the design, the quality. But it's not for everybody, and we've got Jimmy Capolo making some fantastic brand new vintage basses, which just give you fantastic old school feel and sound. Again, made individually. Wonderful thing about Oliva Capolos is if you put 3 on a wall at random of the same model, they'll all have something slightly different about them. Jimmy makes each one slightly different, and that's why you've got to come and try these things out to find out what you like. And I like that way, in a way, the uniqueness of each bass. And one of the things about being in Twyford is that it's allowing more people, just because of the population density and so forth and the ease of getting here, more people are coming to the showroom than we had before, which is kind of like the idea. And what we're finding is that people come along and try things, and I firmly believe that you've got to choose a bass with your ears and fingers, not your eyes. And I love it when somebody comes with a predetermined thought and comes out with a totally different bass. That to me is a result, because it signifies that they've actually thought about it and they've been won over by the actual experiential event of playing it and feeling it and hearing it and going, wow, that's talking to me. Here, I think, because most of these basses are unique and individual, you've got to come in with a bit of an open mind. Fair enough, come in with a sort of a view, but be prepared to be won over and fall in love with something you weren't expecting to. And I think that's one of the nice things about having relatively esoteric brands, brands that people hadn't really thought about before, and that goes for cabs and amps as well as basses. by coming in and actually trying things, they end up getting to like something they probably didn't really know much about before. I mean, for example, the Zon basses. Joe Zon makes the American Zons out in California and does a fantastic job, but they don't, you know, there's not many in the UK. Over the years, there's been quite a few because people have gone out their way to get a Zon, you know, and they're really pleased that they've got one, but you don't see many of them around. And so when someone's got, you know, a budget to spend on a bass, it's not necessarily on their shopping list because it's not so obvious. But come into Bass Gear and try some Zons, and you know, you could be won over. So I think that having an open mind is kind of useful. So Bass Gear is very small, very friendly, privately owned. The coffee is great, and we'd like to see you here.